Shiv Vishwanathan is also joining us, social anthropologist, leading wordsmith. What's the fancy, what's the fancy turn of phrase that you've put together? What do you think people should be looking out for once counting starts, sir?
Surprises. I want the music of surprises.
What is the music of
Because it's getting too, if you look at it right now, the rumor is too predictable. I mean, it seems to be running like some train on tracks. Everything right, a huge juggernaut. But I want a few upsets, because I want number to be upset, so politics emerges. Because the politics and the dynamics of the society.
That might be exciting for anthropologists. That's the last thing the stock markets wants. That's the last thing corporates India want, yeah?
Last thing pollsters.
Last thing pollsters want, absolutely.
But that's why I'm interested in last things.
Should you want the train to be derailed?
No.
That's a pretty
my
grim
train
thought.
starts working more comfortably.
But everyone's really worried about the India train. That needs to be brought on track.
Exactly.
Shiv, of course, thinks it'll be more exciting. There's some surprises. Achyut Yagnik is joining us from Ahmedabad. Understands the Modi phenomena, understands what's right about Modi, what's wrong about Modi very closely. People say today will change India forever. Is that an overstatement, or do you think that's an expression of reality?
No, with him or without him, India will be changed.
Why? How?
Because of the way we have seen this election, you know, the process of this election and the participation of people also. But today, to begin with, I am looking for arithmetic in the beginning and later chemistry. So I have to relearn arithmetic first.
But this is something Modi spoke of, Krishnanand, again and again. As we heard him deliver his big rallies, he said that in arithmetic 1 and 1 is 2, in chemistry 1 and 1 is 11. And if it's 11, then possibly say today's Chanakya poll, which says that the NDA could end up at 340, that sort of a scenario comes into play. Do you think it will be chemistry, or do you think it will be arithmetic?
Well, Rahul, I think, if you look at it 60 years, it's both chemistry and arithmetic. Arithmetic cannot be sort of, completely written off, and chemistry also. And this has been the case. And particularly after the 1980s, if you look at every election, it's only baffled more and more. And the kind of fragmentation that we are in today. We are not talking about fragmentation pan-India. We are actually talking about fragmentation within a country, within a region. You talk about Uttar Pradesh, it's not just one social chemistry that works now. You talk about Tamil Nadu, it's just not one social chemistry. And even with all the exit poll results and the pollsters, granting that, for a moment that they went right, I think you have Kerala, which is perhaps one state where the Congress seems to have completely reinvented itself and, waiting for a sweep. So will
we see, Sadanand, national Modi chemistry or local arithmetic?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think if the polls are even remotely right, this is clearly a national election, and in some ways the first national election that we've had since the advent of the coalition era.
Absolutely. And in that sense, Veer Sanghvi, to build on the question that I asked Achyut Yagnik, some people say, "Achhe din aane wale hain." Do you think after today, indeed, for those who think the India growth story is being derailed, growth is down, confidence is sapping, kya achhe din aane wale?
I think it's pretty clear that if Modi does get elected with a substantial majority, business confidence will increase almost overnight. There will be a further inflow of foreign funds, the rupee will stabilize, the Sensex will rise. So in the short to medium term, the first month to the first year, I don't think there is a problem. Can Modi tackle the basic problems that face the Indian economy? Can he handle inflation? Can he handle food inflation? Well, all that remains
But that's
to be
as
seen.
far as corporate India, big money is concerned. What about the real guy watching this show this morning?
I don't think the real...
Who's woken up this morning because he's concerned about what happens to his country. He's concerned about the lack of job opportunities. Will Modi be able to change that in a conceivable time frame?
The short answer is that we don't know. There is evidence that Modi has a record of encouraging industry, of promoting efficiency. So certainly industry will get back on track. But the creation of jobs is not as simple as getting rid of red tape and promoting efficiency.
Tavleen Singh, has Narendra Modi oversold his dream? Barack Obama proved to be a big disappointment once he got elected to power, even though he rode and came to power riding a wave of expectations.
The comparison doesn't hold.
Why not?
Because in India, it's a totally different situation. America was not in a state of complete despair which is the mood of this election, and which is why there's so much hope attached to Modi. Wherever you go, wherever I have gone, I've seen real despair, especially among the young. And with the jobs thing, you must remember that with every percentage point of growth, how many is it, Sadhana? It's about, a certain amount of jobs get created. So when you go up, if you can even just raise the growth rate by following policies that bring back some hope into the investment climate, you will see that happen. Jobs have dropped because the growth rate has dropped.
Sadan, on this question, अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं क्या?
I think a simple way of looking at this is that there are two components. What are the gains that the economy will get simply through leadership and better administration? We can be pretty confident that we'll get those. Yeah. What are the gains that you're going to get through deep structural reforms? For that, we're going to have to see the size of his mandate, and we're going to see whether he has the will to take this beyond just better administration and toward serious reform, some of which will be painful.
Krishna Anand, क्या अच्छे दिन आने वाले?
Rahul, I think come what may as to who is going to form the government and all, I think we need to see this whole slowdown and the problems in the economy in perspective. In fact, beginning the 1980s, India has been sort of, there's been a slide down in jobs and so on. And it's not just an India specific, or it's not that like who is your prime minister. The whole structure of the economy, and in fact, the effects of what has happened with the meltdown in the US is bound to affect India.
Okay.